I'm the best fighter in the world. I mean, not just on the Olympic team. I mean, that's with everybody, no matter what fighter.
Those are the words of 20-year-old Floyd Mayweather, just 1 year removed from an Olympic bronze medal. A veteran of a whole 10 professional fights. Just coming off a rousing second-round knockout over 18-3 Louis Leja.
It's so easy. I mean, this sport is not hard. I mean, you just got to stay focused. And, you know, you gotta go out there and do what you got to do. And that's to win. And I feel I'm winning because, you know, because of my skills and my will, and my determination, and I can punch with any hand.
This is after just 10 pro fights.
I'm on a level with the world champions. Put it right there, right now. I mean, you could put me there with a Janera Hernandez, the guy that just fought the IBF champ, Arturo Gatti. I'll beat Arturo Gatti, and I also will beat Janera Hernandez, for sure. I will be world champion in 1998.
20 years old, just 10 pro fights under the belt.
I don't just have talent inside the ring. I have talent on the outside of the ring. I have charisma, have character, and people like me. And I'm just a showman.
Floyd also enjoys running the show. Here setting up the Tuesday night fight stare down before the fight with his opponent, Felipe Garcia. Directing Felipe where to stand, how to turn to the camera, the proper time to turn. Yes, young Floyd just does it all.
Everybody's a producer.
That's right. Well, Felipe Garcia took it in stride, almost the smug look on his face as a very animated character, cocky, not in the arrogant type of a way, but very confident, very playful, very sure of himself as Floyd Mayweather. But he's stepping in against a guy who has loads and loads of experience, and you see the smile on the face of Floyd Mayweather. Does he know what he's getting into with Felipe Garcia?
Floyd Mayweather can do it all. He has, in the ring, as you heard, he has charisma. He has a nice jab. He has good right hand, good hook, punch with either hand. He's got great balance. But the one thing that he lacks is the experience, and that's what he's hoping in a fight of this nature. He wants to kind of test the waters to see what Felipe's going to put pressure on him all night, to see how he reacts to that pressure.
Well, he has a lot of experience in the ring. Two-time world champion Roger Mayweather, also former contender Jeff Mayweather. His uncles are in the corner. Here is the Castrol tail of the tape. He has a few pounds over Garcia. He has 5 inches in height and nearly 5 inches in reach. So physically, he is the dominant figure in the ring, giving up 19 years. And Mayweather happy to do that. We're in Idaho, and these are the rules. Standing 8 count is not in effect. 3 knockdown rule is not in effect. You cannot be saved by the bell. Scoring on the 10-point must system. And the champ wanted us to make sure to tell you no throwing potatoes into the ring during the fight. All right, we're ready for the introductions. So let's go to the man in the black tuxedo wearing the maroon accessories, Mark Duro.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Idaho State Athletic Commission. The commissioner is John Vestal, and the chief deputy commissioner is Larry Bettis. Top Rank Incorporated, in association with Diamond Sports and Entertainment and Budweiser, This Bud's for You, presents 8 rounds junior lightweights. Your referee for this event, the pride of Boise, Idaho, Jerry Armstrong. Introducing now the principals first in the red corner to my right, wearing the gold trunks, weighing in at 130 pounds. His professional record reads 19 victories, 17 defeats, 1 draw, and 10 wins coming by way of knockout. El Hijo de la República de Mexico, and boxing out of the Poor Boys Boxing Club in Denver, Colorado. Here is ferocious Felipe Garcia. His opponent, In the blue corner, wearing the purple trunks, white trim, he weighs in at 133.5 pounds. He is undefeated in 10 professional bouts with 8 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and now makes his home in Las Vegas, Nevada, the 1996 U.S. Olympic bronze medalist. Here is Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather, 8 rounds, junior lightweights.
Okay, Floyd and Felipe, you got your instructions in the dressing room. Any questions on the instructions? No problem. Okay. I ask one thing, that you obey my commands at all time. When I say break, keep your hands up, stop boxing, take 1 step back, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, touch gloves now. Okay, good luck.
Floyd Mayweather with Uncle Roger helping him out. Uncle Jeff, who spars with Floyd in the background. Mayweather 10-0 with 8 knockouts. He has scored 16 knockdowns in his fight. He has fought 25 rounds and has won 24 of them so far. You are seeing all the young Olympians throughout the last few weeks. On Tuesday night fights, you're seeing David Reed and Terrence Coffin, Larry Claybay, Roshai Wells, Antonio Tarver, Fernando Vargas, and they are all off to terrific starts as pros, all undefeated at this point, and Mayweather has won his first 10 in a hurry. Debuted last October after winning the bronze medal, losing in the semifinals to the Bulgarian fighter who's a 2-time world champion and 10 years the senior of Mayweather in a very controversial 10-9 scoring decision. But Mayweather has put that behind him, as have most of the Olympians who did not agree with the Olympic scoring system. And now Floyd going up against Felipe Garcia, who may be old, but he's slow, Sean. But he's also crafty and a good counter-puncher, always competitive, and with his experience, it could be difficult for a young prospect. Felipe, after having lost 10 of 12, comes in here off his best win in August, won a 10-round decision over former world title challenger Miguel Arizol in Arizol's hometown. He also owns a win over Mauro Diaz, who was then world ranked at 25-0. So Felipe Garcia, who just kind of gets under your skin in the ring, and at 39 says he still loves the sport, loves to be in there.
His record is 19-17-1 with team KOs. He says, you know, I've been a road warrior. I fight out of Denver, and I normally have to go out of town to get fights. They don't have a lot of boxing matches in Denver. He says, I've been robbed many times. And he says, my record really should be about 54-8. Felipe Garcia.
And the crowd now watching this fight intently. As you see Floyd Mayweather, you will see Kenny Keene in the main event, and that's what Boise is here for. Kenny actually right outside of Boise, out of Emmett, Idaho, but they have certainly embraced him here in the big city. And right now he is in the locker room getting prepared and ready to enter the ring in the main event. Originally to fight James Toney, which would have brought this house down, but Toney fractured his wrist in sparring, and Sal Montana, another banger, steps in, and should be a very interesting competitive fight that these fans will enjoy regardless.
Very competitive. Either fighter can win that fight, though. Tough one to pick.
Well, Felipe Garcia lasting through the first round, and we will pause for this word from your local cable systems. Boise, Idaho, the home of Cleveland Quarter, who opened the show tonight with a sensational-looking knockout. And Kenny Keene coming up. This is round number 2. 20-year-old Floyd Mayweather, who has 7 knockouts of his 8 in the first couple of rounds. And he is come into this fight understanding that the key to him is always the jab. He feels it's his offense and his defense, and he's trying to get it going against a very slippery Felipe Garcia, former kickboxing champion, who comes in with all these angles. He gets low. He's only 5'2" anyway. So a very hard target, very awkward fighter to go against, very confusing to his opponents. So trying to figure things out in the corner of Floyd Mayweather is Uncle Roger, the former junior lightweight champion, former junior welterweight champion. Let's go to the champs.
Roger Floyd is having a little bit of trouble connecting. How difficult is a fighter like Felipe Garcia?
Well, he's an experienced fighter, but the case while Floyd having more difficult, he got to touch the guy.
Yeah.
He trying too much to do from a distance, and the guy is very short. And so what you got to do with a guy like that, you got to start from the body and work your way up. It's different when you're fighting a tall guy, you try to counter with the right hand. But this time you get this guy a lead right hand, because he's not looking to take offense, he's looking to take defense.
As you know, it's important, Roger, to win this fight, but also it's important of how you win this fight.
Right.
Can a fighter like Felipe Garcia make Floyd look bad?
Well, he's experienced, but I think that Floyd in the end, the result gonna be like what I just told you. The result in the end, Floyd got to take his time, and he's gonna get him out of there. And he's gonna look good doing it once he get him hemmed up. But he got to trap him first.
Yeah.
Throw the right hand to the body.
Now, he said how diligently you and he worked in the gym on the jab. How important is that in a fight of this nature?
Well, this guy is just tough, basically. This guy is a tough fighter, durable. And what Floyd got to do is take his time, and start hitting that body and lead right hand. A lot of lead right hand will catch the guy off balance.
That's what you're going to tell him at the end of this round, right?
I tell him every time, a lot of lead right hands to the body and back to the head.
Okay, we're going to be looking for those right hands in the next round. Yeah, I think
that's going to be the one to get him out of there. When I'm telling you that right now, if you throw the right hands to the body and back to the top, that's going to be the one to get him out of there.
And you're going to try to get him out of there.
That's right.
Okay, Roger. They know what they want to do over here.
And they have 6 more rounds to do it. Starting the wrapping process, Kenny Keene moving closer to making his entrance into this arena for the first time. The boxing shows here at the Bank of America Center. It just opened a month ago, and Kenny Keene helping to put a big crowd here as the center opens its doors for the first time to boxing, which will be a regular feature.
Yeah, they have really grown to where they really love boxing here in Boise. They appreciate us being here. Great fans here. They like the sport of boxing.
As does Floyd Mayweather and Felipe Garcia. Now, Garcia has been stopped only once over the course of the last 10 years. He's going to be a hard guy for Mayweather to take out, and it certainly would be a feather in the cap of the young Mayweather if he can do so. But in the meantime, you see his patience in there. A lot of the young fighters want to get in and take their opponent out right away, but Mayweather just loves being in the ring. He wouldn't mind if he's in there for 8 rounds. It's good work for him against a veteran. See what he could do against a guy who brings in some awkwardness that Mayweather has to contend with.
And something that Floyd has learned in growing up in his family is patience is a great virtue to have if you're going to be a world-class fighter. He has plenty of time, not trying to rush the knockout. Yes, he wants a knockout. And in every fight that you have, there will be at least one opportunity to knock out your opponent. Crafty veteran Felipe Garcia knows the moves. He knows how to roll with the punches. He knows how to make you look bad. He knows how to counter. He knows how to do just enough to get by in these fights to keep from being knocked out. There was a good right hand from Garcia, his best of this fight.
Makes it very difficult on his opponents. He has gone the distance with Eddie Crawford, who was 16-0. Jose Rincones, who was 16-1. Tony Green from Philly, who was 21-3. Cedric Mingo, 22-5. Remember Clarence Adams going the distance. Felipe Garcia with all these fighters. The only guy who was able to get him and stop him was Rudy Zavala. Also very crafty and tough. That's caught him at the right time.
He's done that. Rudy Zavala's done that to many people. Garcia said tonight, I'm going to try to capitalize on the mistakes of Mayweather. He had not seen Mayweather coming into this fight. Said, I don't like to see my opponents. I want to go in there without knowing them, get a preconceived fight plan that I can't get out of. He wants to be able to adapt. He was very loose before the fight. There's a good jab from him.
And actually, he's been able to catch Mayweather a couple of times already in these 3 rounds. And that's probably the first time in 11 fights that Mayweather has actually been touched
or hit.
Floyd Mayweather comes out for round number 4. The instructions from Uncle Roger is to get the jab going. Floyd Mayweather Sr. He had a record of 28-6, welterweight contender. Roger Mayweather, 2-time world champion. Jeff Mayweather, Uncle Jeff, former fringe contender. Boxing family. Floyd said his father took him to the gym in a stroller. The little kid used to get in the gym, and the guys there would get down on their knees and spar a little with Floyd. So he has grown up in the ring and loves being there, loves to be the center of attention. And now it is his time. Coming out of the U.S. Olympic team, winning the bronze medal in Atlanta. Right now trying to figure out Felipe Garcia. Going to the body is Mayweather. Mayweather with so many tools, tremendously skilled, but you just saw there, tendency to drop the hands, showboat a little bit. He said grew up and guys he loves to watch outside of his dad and his uncles. Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, tapes of Sugar Ray Robinson. So that's City patterns his style. Well, Roger Mayweather is not the only former champ working a corner here tonight. Cornelius Boza Edwards is in the opposite corner, working with Felipe Garcia and now with the champ. Shaw?
Cornelius, is this the kind of fight you expected?
Oh yeah. You know, Floyd has got quick hands, quick reflexes. Of course, he's got the youth behind him.
Yeah, but you see more pressure from Felipe this round. Why?
Well, because Floyd is beginning to, you know, gain some respect from Felipe's point of view. He's realized that he's not, you know, going to just jump in there and gut him out there like he's done with the other fighters.
But come on, Cornelius. Floyd's very good. How do you beat this guy?
Very good. How do you beat him? Hopefully you get a lucky shot, you know, cause him off balance. I mean, like right there, he missed him, but Felipe's did not count because of the reflexes.
Do you think his skills, Floyd's skills, will decay as this fight continues?
Well, that's difficult to say. Right now, it's in the beginning of the early rounds. I mean, you know, it's a test. We'll see what he's got. But so far, I think we've seen everything what Floyd has got. He's a kid who's growing with the industry right now.
What are you going to tell him at the end of this round, Boza?
Oh, to go downstairs and then let Floyd open up at the top, and then maybe Philip will come over the top.
And we'll be looking for that the next round. All right, Al.
So Boza Edwards has to go to work, as does Roger Mayweather. Let's listen in. He talks to his nephew.
Keep that same pressure on him. And keep moving your hand. Keep your distance. Listen, the same pressure on him. Keep moving this. Keep touching him to the body. Whenever you touch him to the body and lead right hand, that's what his sucker foot.
Yeah, see it's sticking up. See, by going down below, you calculate it, you can't miss it. Over the top, you're going to miss it. But you don't miss it, it's not moving it.
All right, Felipe, let's go. Remember who you are. You listen to what Boza said, now let's execute. We can't give any more rounds late. Remember who you are, all right?
All right. Right hand to the body. I want right hand to the body. Right hand up top.
20-year-old Floyd Mayweather, who made his pro debut last October. And he knows he is in there with a hardened professional, and Felipe Garcia, who, as you could see him in the corner, Sean, looks like he knows he's just getting into this fight. He's warmed up. He's given away 4 rounds, but he's warmed up, as Boza Edwards said, and as Felipe Garcia said, that he He just hopes that he could get Mayweather to make a mistake and then capitalize on the counter. But keep in mind, we talked about Felipe Garcia, who's been stopped only once in 10 years on the other side. He's only knocked one fighter out over the course of the last 7 years of his career. So
not really a power hitter. However, he is an iron horse. Felipe Garcia will stay in there. And the fight plan in this match, you know, you heard Cornelius Edwards. He doesn't know what to expect from Mayweather as this fight continues on. And what you want to find out from young fighters who are coming into the pro ranks is what happens to them after that 3rd round. You know, all the amateur fights are 3 rounds. That's all the time that they need to fight. What you want to see is what happens to them in, you know, the long haul. It is like a quarter horse, a short distance runner facing a long distance runner, and the pro ranks are long distance runners.
5th round action. This is the 4th time, though, in 11 fights that Mayweather has been past the 4th round. In the main event, it is a 12-round title fight. Kenny Keene, the hero from this part, against Saul Montana. Montana travels to Idaho to face Keene of Boise, and this crowd will be raucous. They are awaiting Kenny Keene. Now, Floyd Mayweather looking to open it up. Edwards says to Felipe Garcia, well, he's shown you all he has, and I don't really believe that.
Well, look at Garcia, though, rolling with the punches, trying to take the power out of Floyd's shots. Floyd 8 KOs in his 10 wins. He has good power, says his best punch is the right hand. He is naturally right-handed, Mayweather is. He says the key to the fight tonight is the jab. It's both offense and defense, and that is experience talking when you hear young kids talking about that, because everything else works off the jab. You get that jab working, then your right hand works, your hook works, your uppercuts work. You control the fight. You control the tempo.
Picking up shots now. Now putting some combinations together.
But just hanging in there. Felipe Garcia just doing enough to hang in round by round.
Floyd Mayweather didn't really particularly think he'd be still bopping around there for a 6th round, but he has no problems with it. Just loves being in the ring, and for the self-proclaimed best fighter in the world, very hard to look like the best fighter in the world against Felipe Garcia, who has taken many fine prospects the distance. We were saying Felipe Garcia just looking the way he is, just hanging in. He could do this if this was scheduled 12, 15, or 20 rounder.
That's Garcia. He doesn't care. He'll go the distance, and he's like a negative fighter. He just makes you look bad, and he can come up with an occasional win, a surprise knockout, but he's just one of those fighters that can make you look ordinary, and he's doing that with Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather having a difficult time. Look at the shots missing from Mayweather, not right on with his punches.
You know, we talked about the enthusiasm of Mayweather for the sport, and here is Felipe Garcia, 19 years older, has been in the boxing business probably about 60 more years than Mayweather, and he still has that feeling. You know what he says is that the spirit for the sport, the passion for it, and even though he has lost 17 fights, next to his 19 victories, he is still in there, and in his own mind, always thinking he could be the world champion.
One day a world champion. But I tell you, Felipe's been fighting his whole life. He turned pro at 14 years old in 1971 in Mexico. He had about 12 fights before moving to Denver, and then started kickboxing.
He says actually between Denver and Mexico, after turning pro at 14, he had about 30 pro fights before his fight started to be recorded. And now the crowd expecting a little more action after seeing their own Cleveland Quarter. A buzzsaw in the Just for Starters, and anticipating, knowing what they're going to get from Kenny Keene in the main event. Want a little more here out of the self-proclaimed best fighter in the world, Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather Mayweather says one of the things he loves to do too, he says he loves to talk trash. And I said, well, how do you get it? He says, well, you know, my father talked trash, my uncle talks trash, my mother talks trash. I said, what? I said, is she a fighter too? He says, no, when she plays cards, she gets everybody over. If she's playing cards, she talks trash. So that's where
Something tells me from that family, Mama Mayweather can also box.
You're right. She can handle herself.
She can handle those boys.
Oh, and Floyd Mayweather handles Felipe Garcia. He finally cracks through, and Felipe having difficulty getting up very rarely in this position, and this fight is stopped. So Floyd Mayweather ends up with the sensational finish.
He said, I'll get him out of there, and they told me in the corner, Roger said, I'm going to have him go downstairs to the body with the right hand and then come upstairs to knock out Garcia, and he'll eventually get him. Patience is a great virtue to have as a young fighter.
Junior, when you hear that one, that was the bad.
And now we can talk a little more trash.
That gets to the fun part of the boxing world.
And Felipe Garcia, only the second time in 10 years that he has been taken out. And it appeared as if he could go all night, but cracked. And we'll get another look, several of them, on how Floyd Mayweather finally able to break through against Felipe Garcia.
Mayweather keeping the pressure on, moving forward. Watch this movement from Garcia trying to pull the power out of the punches, but Garcia doesn't pull the power out of these shots. The left hook upstairs, followed by the right hand. Punches in combinations. Mayweather asking him what his best punch was. He says, well, both of them. As his confidence rang through. I think Garcia would agree with that. Yep. One more time. The left hook, followed by the right hand. And down on his back, he did not move. Garcia didn't from that position. That's why they stopped it.
All right, let's get the official time as Mayweather makes it 11-0, produces his 9th KO, and all the young U.S. Olympians now still remain undefeated. Let's go up to Mark Bureau.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 56 seconds of the 6th round. The winner by knockout and still undefeated, Pretty Boy, Floyd Mayweather.
Mayweather picking up some fans here in Boise. 4 seconds from the end of the 6th round, cranks Felipe Garcia. So for Mayweather, takes out Louis Leja in the 2nd round in his last fight, and now takes out a rocking Felipe Garcia, Felipe, in this one.
That says a lot about a fighter who